So Ms. Barbara Wussow, Mr. Albert Fortell, thank you very, very much for having taken the time to join us for our conversation this evening.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure for us too.
No, it's an honor and a pleasure. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to ask you both, since you're coming from the sector of film and cinema, a little bit about the power that you see that culture has to actually affect individuals around the world. Sometimes also the power for film to transcend borders. The work that we do at the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy is very much about transcending borders, bringing people together who normally wouldn't come together. And I think sometimes film and culture has an even greater potential and an even greater power than even politics. So I'd be curious just to hear, first of all, your reflections regarding cinema and film. What potential do you see for film to actually reach individuals and even affect the way that people think and act compared to politics or economics?
Well, I think in the first place, if you're talking about film, is television, television series is the same thing that
Movies.
You sell movies, television that you sell worldwide. We're selling stories. We're telling stories.
We're telling emotions. We're selling emotions.
Selling emotions. Politics sometimes not
Other
always
emotions.
sells emotions in a different way,
Yeah.
which very often, and sadly enough in our times, interests less and less people because of scandals, problems, whatever. Actors have scandals too, of course, but that's a different story.
This is a different story.
But trust and confidence, and very often we're
yeah,
losing
but we're
our
selling
trust.
emotions, as my wife said, emotions, stories, and you reach different people. With politics, you reach people that are interested in politics. Of course, everything is politics.
And you can touch the hearts of so many people around the world with one movie. And you can break ices somewhere around the globe. Ices between people, maybe, between generations, maybe, and
Yes.
between continents, maybe.
And cultures and
Not only cultures, but also generations within cultures, which is even a different story. That's true.
No, it's true, and I think there in the framework, even let's say of the Arab Spring, where we're seeing also, governments are being overthrown, so to speak, by the people. I think there does seem to be a growing mistrust sometimes in politics, and there I've noticed very often an artist or someone coming from the cultural field has even greater authenticity than in many cases politicians. If you look at, for example, the United Nations Goodwill Ambassadors, whether it's Angelina Jolie, etc., that actually works. Those individuals have an impact. I've spoken to many in the UN, and they really say that helps, that really matters. So in that sense, do you think sometimes that an artist or an actor or an actress can even do things and accomplish things that sometimes politicians can't? Or do you see sometimes opportunities there or potential?
Well, the thing is, if you're a politician, you need to be, if you're a dictator, you don't need to be re-elected, but still you need a certain what do you call it, a certain stronghold behind you in your country. If you're an artist, what you can do is you can
cross borders.
You cross a border because you say, I've written a script and I'm telling the story. It's not me, I'm telling this story. So it's actually, there's a story between you and the audience. A politician who says A means B, but there is nothing between him and what he says. It's him who says it. An artist, an actor, I can say, well, I'm playing this character. I'm playing this really bad guy. I'm not a bad guy in person, but I'm playing this bad guy, and I'm playing him convincingly. Why? Because this role shows that this type of character is probably not good for so-and-so. So I don't have to be that guy. The politician has to be that guy. I can put something between the audience and the story that I'm trying to tell.
What about you, Ms. Wussow? In the sense, you do much more than just act and much more than just entertain, but you're also quite involved in many activities, whether it's for cancer, children, etc. Why is that? In the sense, what is it that motivates you and inspires you to do so much more, actually, than just your job?
Because since I'm now an actress since 30 years, maybe roughly, and I think I have the opportunity and the responsibility to do something else with my name. which are reached now, and therefore I can put so many inputs, so many good things in organizations like against cancer, for children, for lost
SOS
child,
Kinderdorf,
SOS Kinderdorf,
for example.
and for what else do I do? Tell me.
Well, you very often
There's
you're
so many,
invited to
yeah.
a lot of charity. You have to be very careful too, because you can't be everywhere.
Here in Germany, the Kindernothilfe is very. For me, it's very important to help children because I love children so much, and therefore, all of my heart I can give them. And together with being an actress, I can take my popularity to do something else, not only to play good parts, good roles, good movies.
I have another question for you, Ms. Wussow. For you as a German, you're initially from Munich, and what's
No?
interesting?
Yeah.
What's interesting-
Yes, I'm right. You're right.
What's
She
interesting?
forgot already.
No, but what's fascinating about Germany is really since the Second World War, there's been a great consistency in German foreign policy, where German foreign policy has been much more about soft power than hard power. Germany isn't intervening militarily like the US or other countries, and Germany is investing a lot when it comes to culture. Today, the German Foreign Ministry, the Auswärtige Amt, is investing more money in cultural diplomacy than political diplomacy, which I think is really helping Germany in the sense if you look at the exchange programs, Goethe Institute, etc. So I just was curious about your opinion in the sense, do you think that makes sense in terms of, let's say, German foreign policy to also be using culture? Because I think I would argue it's actually helping to get an understanding of Germany abroad and also a trust. Should these be two completely separate things, or can culture also assist in strengthening relations between countries?
No, I agree with you. With all these things, I can think they can put together. They can be put together.
Can work together.
Work together.
I think there is more. Actually, we should give culture, which is a big term, of course, more chances and put more weight on it in the future, even, because it does bring people together on a different level. Let me give you an example. Austria, after the war, before we became independent in Austria, it is said that the famous Chancellor Fiedel of Austria, because we had the chance to become independent, Austria was not split up between West and East, which it was supposed to be in the beginning. So what did they do? They brought the Russians and the Americans to the wine drinking places there.
Another kind of culture.
Of course, there's a lot of
This
story
is
ranking
a
around
certain
it.
type of cultural.
Yes. Can
That
be
is
very-
cultural diplomacy, because it's in certain
Diplomacy.
atmosphere. Other people drink wine too, but these special Heurigen places, as they're called, they have a very, very special Viennese atmosphere. And supposedly, at that time, drinking a little bit of wine, being in a good mood. Sometimes politics comes down to a very, very basic mutual way of dealing with each other.
Feeling
It's-
well together, feeling cozy together.
Yeah. And suddenly you get different
it
ideas.
has to do
and-
something with feeling
Yeah.
and emotions. Cultural thing.
So and we bring on emotions in our business, and if you combine these things with the hardcore business of politics, sometimes, very often hardcore,
Could be a good marriage, I think.
maybe.
It can work very well. Maybe final question, because I know you're expected on the red carpet soon, to do with also, let's say, governments and culture. In the USA, we don't have a Ministry of Culture. In the USA, there's really the idea...
There is no specific
The
interest.
idea in the USA, we pay very little taxes, and essentially everything is up to the private sector. So if you want to make movies in Hollywood, go ahead and make money. That's not the government's job. Whereas in Germany or many European countries, it's very different. There, a lot of culture is actually subsidized. France is a big example, of course, the film industry, etc.
Sometimes too much subsidized. I
Well,
think
that's
the
actually
truth
my
is
question.
in the middle.
Well, that's my question to you. In the sense, which model do you think is more effective? For example, the German model, where in Berlin there are 3 opera houses subsidized by the government, or let's say the more American approach, where it's totally up to the private sector, or as you were saying, a happy medium. How would you navigate in this field of, let's say, governments and democracy intermingling with culture?
Well, Barbara knows we've done a number of stage tours through Germany, Austria, but mainly Germany.
Germany, Switzerland.
And the interesting thing was, to me, you travel for 3 months through Germany with a play, every day a different city, or every other day. There are so many theaters in Germany, in small towns. You would not find that not even in France, not and definitely not in the States.
In the States, no.
Of course, they only work probably in subsidized programs. Because how else would a theater in a little province somewhere work and could afford a play with us coming there, a production, which is expensive, not because just of us, but whatever. And that only works because there is some way of subsidizing that. On the other hand, I think the American model, we can learn from them in respect that we should put more on the private sector too, meaning being able to deduct money from your taxes. I like this picture, I buy it, I get a receipt, and I'm able to deduct it. That was, for a long time, in Austria not possible, because the government said, we decide what's worth. And that's an arrogant approach too. I don't like that either. That's what you meant?
Yeah, I do understand you.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree. With so many things with you.
Okay. That's great. But no, we look forward to continuing to working with both of you. I think there's a huge potential, and I think especially as we look at the way the world is going now, I think definitely the role of culture, in our opinion, is certainly increasing. I think it's not just up to the politics and the economics. And there I think that we all have a great potential, hopefully to have a...
There are other channels that should be used more extensively.
Yeah, or every channel should be used.
Yes.
Thank you very much to both of you, and I very much look forward to continuing our conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.